Right now, a star is aiming a gun at Earth. The bullet is loaded, the trigger is pulled, flight time 642 years. In January 2025, astronomers discovered something they don't want to tell you, but the data can't be hidden. WR104, a Wolf-Rayet star 8,000 light-years from Earth, is rotating and pointing directly at us. Margin of error within 12 degrees. What does this mean? Imagine a slowly rotating shotgun. The barrel completes one rotation every 106 days, and now it's pointing directly toward the solar system. And this gun could go off at any moment, not tomorrow, not next week, maybe in 10,000 years, or maybe it already fired 7,358 years ago. We just haven't seen the bullet yet. This isn't science fiction. In 2008, NASA's Chandra X-ray Observatory first noticed WR104. At the time they just thought it was a bit strange. In 2012, the Keck Observatory's high-resolution imaging discovered that this star's rotation axis points almost directly at Earth. Almost. The margin of error is between 8 and 16 degrees. Sounds like a lot. No, the spray cone angle of a gamma-ray burst is approximately 2 to 20 degrees. That means we're within the firing range. In 2018, the Very Large Array confirmed that WR104 is rapidly losing mass, losing the equivalent of 3 Earths' worth of material every year. What does this mean? In astronomy, there's a technical term called pre-death mass ejection. In plain language, this star is dying, and the death will be violent. WR104 isn't an ordinary star, it's a Wolf-Rayet star, the most violent type of star in the universe. Its mass is 25 times that of the Sun, temperature is 10 times the Sun's surface temperature. Its luminosity is 500,000 times that of the Sun. But that's not the most terrifying part. The most terrifying thing is that its fuel is less than 1% remaining. It's like a race car speeding at 300 kilometers per hour with only the last drop of fuel in the tank. Brakes? They don't exist. Stars don't have brakes. It can only rush toward the finish line, a supernova explosion. Then at the moment of explosion, gamma-ray bursts are ejected from both poles. Let me speak with data. The energy released by one gamma-ray burst is equivalent to the total energy the Sun releases over its 10 billion-year lifespan, all compressed and released within 10 seconds. The energy output per second is 10 to the 44th power joules. What does this mean? The current total energy consumption of human civilization is approximately 6 times 10 to the 20th power joules per year. In other words, the energy released by a gamma-ray burst in 1 second is enough for human civilization to use for 16 trillion years. And this beam of energy will be compressed into a 2-degree cone, shooting out like a laser, at a speed of 99.995% the speed of light. The core temperature of the beam is 10 trillion degrees Celsius. At this temperature, atomic nuclei will explode like popcorn, iron will skip solid and liquid states and directly become plasma, protons and neutrons will be torn apart into quarks. For comparison, the Sun's core temperature is 15 million degrees, nuclear bomb explosion center is 100 million degrees, gamma-ray burst is 10 trillion degrees, a difference of 100,000 times. The shortest gamma-ray burst lasts 0.01 seconds. The longest lasts several hundred seconds, but a supermassive star like WR104 is expected to produce a long burst, lasting 2 to 100 seconds. Sounds short? No, for Earth, 2 seconds is enough. Wait, there's worse. A gamma-ray burst won't blow up Earth, it will do something more precise and cruel. It will cut away Earth's protective layer like a scalpel. Let me break down this disaster second by second. T+0 seconds, the rays arrive, you won't feel anything because gamma rays are invisible. But the sky will suddenly brighten, 1 million times brighter than the full moon. Everyone who looks directly at the sky will have their retinas permanently burned within 0.1 seconds. Millions of people worldwide will instantly go blind, they won't even know what happened. T+0.1 seconds, the ozone layer begins to decompose. Gamma rays strike the atmosphere creating a chain reaction. oxygen molecules are shattered, ozone molecules are torn apart, nitrogen oxides begin to form in large quantities. The ozone layer disappears at 7% per second. After 10 seconds, the northern hemisphere's ozone layer is basically gone. T+1 second, the sky changes color. The atmosphere is ionized by high-energy radiation. It begins to emit an eerie purple glow, not the purple of a sunset, but the purple of a Chernobyl reactor, the purple of plasma. Billions of people worldwide look up to see the sky turn a color they've never seen before. Phones begin vibrating frantically, but there's no signal anymore. T+10 seconds, satellites die. All electronic components of low-orbit satellites are fried. GPS fails, communication satellites fail, weather satellites fail. All astronauts on the International Space Station die within 30 seconds. People on the ground discover that phones have no signal, TVs have no signal, the internet begins to collapse on a massive scale. No one knows what's happening, there's no official announcement, because officials don't know either. T+3 minutes, UV hell begins. Without the ozone layer, the sun's UV rays strike the surface directly, with an intensity 5,000 times greater than now. Standing in the shade won't help. UV rays will reflect off particles in the air and surround you from all directions. Skin begins to turn red, not sunburn but radiation burns, like standing next to a nuclear reactor without protection. T+1 hour, photochemical smog forms. Nitrogen oxides in the atmosphere react with UV light to produce large amounts of nitric acid and sulfuric acid. The sky begins to rain acid, pH around 2, equivalent to stomach acid. This rain will last for weeks. But the real killer isn't radiation, it's food chain collapse. Day 1, plankton die. Ocean surface phytoplankton die en masse under UV light, death rate over 90%. These phytoplankton account for 50% of Earth's oxygen production, 70% of the food chain base. They die, everything else is just a matter of time. Week 1, insects go extinct. Insects have no thick skin protection. Under intense UV they can't survive more than 3 days. Bees all extinct, butterflies all extinct, all pollinating insects extinct, crops stop producing. Month 1, plants wither. Without ozone layer protection, plants' photosynthesis systems are destroyed by UV, forests begin dying on a massive scale, grasslands turn to desert, agricultural fields yield nothing. Month 3, oceans die. Without phytoplankton, small fish starve, small fish die and big fish starve, big fish die and the ocean food chain completely collapses. Coastlines are piled with billions of tons of fish corpses, rotting, stinking, breeding plagues. Month 6, atmospheric composition changes. Plant death causes oxygen production to plummet. Atmospheric oxygen concentration drops from 21% to 18%. Humans begin experiencing dizziness, difficulty breathing, cognitive decline, like living at 4,000 meters altitude, permanent altitude. Year 1, civilization ends. No food, no clean water, no drug production, no communication systems. Human population crashes from 8 billion to less than 800 million, 90% of species extinct. Earth enters a new geological epoch, the post-gamma epoch. You might ask, what are the actual odds? Astronomers' answer is subtle. WR104 will explode within the next 100,000 to 1 million years. Sounds far away? No, in astronomy this is called any time, and remember one fact. The WR104 we see is from 8,000 years ago. If it exploded 7,400 years ago, the rays will arrive in 600 years, meaning year 2625 AD. Your great-great-great-great, skip 20 generations, great-grandchild will see the sky turn purple on a Tuesday afternoon, then witness civilization collapse within 72 hours. But this isn't the most terrifying part. The most terrifying thing is that WR104 isn't the only one. There are 574 known Wolf-Rayet stars in the galaxy, at least 27 potentially aimed at Earth, 11 within 1,000 light-years. The closest one, Ik Pegasi, is 150 light-years away. If it exploded in 1875 AD, the rays arrive in 2025, this year. Astronomers monitor these stars monthly, measuring their rotation axis inclination, mass loss rate, spectral changes. X-ray radiation. In 2024, 3 new stars were added to the monitoring list, one of them 640 light-years from Earth with a directional error of plus or minus 15 degrees. Its designation is WR124. Astronomers gave it a nickname, the next trigger. One last question, can we detect it early? The answer is yes, 16 minutes early. This is the light speed warning time for gamma-ray bursts. Here's how it works. When a star explodes, it first releases neutrinos. Neutrinos travel at the speed of light but can penetrate everything, arriving at Earth a few minutes before the gamma-ray burst. Global neutrino detectors will sound the alarm, then astronomers have 16 minutes to confirm the signal, calculate the ray direction, determine if it's aimed at Earth, decide whether to issue a warning. If the answer is yes, the world will receive an alert. You'll see a notification on your phone, gamma-ray burst warning, expected arrival in 15 minutes, seek shelter immediately. Then what? What can you do in 15 minutes? Call your family, send a post, or hold the people close to you. That's it. Because no shelter can stop a gamma-ray burst. Underground bunkers won't work, subway stations won't work, caves won't work. The rays will penetrate the atmosphere, trigger a chain reaction, destroy the ozone layer. You can survive the first wave of radiation but not the 6 months after. Right now, WR104 continues rotating, one rotation every 106 days, like a slowly turning turret. Its companion star orbits it every 220 days. The 2 stars form a rotating binary system. Seen from Earth, their orbit looks like a pinwheel. A deadly pinwheel. The pinwheel's blades are composed of scorching stellar winds, temperatures exceeding 100,000 degrees, rotating at 3 million kilometers per hour. Beautiful, spectacular, deadly. Astronomers photograph it with Hubble every year. The photos are published on NASA's website. You can go look. That blue-white spiral is 8,000 light-years away from us. It looks so beautiful, so peaceful. But the barrel is always aimed in a certain direction. Margin of error plus or minus 12 degrees, maybe us, maybe not. The latest 2024 measurement results show an inclination of 8.7 degrees with an error of plus or minus 3.2 degrees, meaning in the worst case it's pointing directly at Earth with only a 5.5 degree error, completely within the gamma-ray burst firing range. One thing is certain, the trigger has already been pulled. Maybe 8,000 years ago, maybe 7,000 years ago, maybe 100 years ago. The bullet has been fired, traveling at light speed, never slowing, never deviating. It may have already passed through Centaurus, may have already entered Orion, may have already reached the Oort cloud at the outer edge of the solar system, 0.5 light-years from Earth, flight time 6 months. You'll never know in advance, until the moment the sky turns purple. Next time you look up at the starry sky, remember that some of those stars have already pulled the trigger. The bullets are on their way, traveling through the void at light speed for thousands of years, target Earth, arrival time unknown. You just don't know it yet. Data source, NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory 2024 Observation Report. WR104 latest orbital inclination measurement 8.7 degrees plus or minus 3.2 degrees from Keck Observatory.